maybe the US. So they all sort of competed.
Championships, yeah.
Yeah. So we had quite a few international runners come over, even up to probably the early 2000s, because we had, there's a couple I think on the boards down here. So Powell came.
Okay.
Asafa Powell came.
Okay. Yeah, he was an Olympic runner, wasn't he?
Yep. Greg Sadler, he was American. He came many years in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, well look, that's a lovely action shot, isn't it? He's really got through there.
And this is
that's a beautiful shot. That's that gentleman. We just call him
and there was another one. Which one was the other? There was a Scottish guy that sang. No. So when you get further down, that's actually their photo finish.
Oh, okay.
So they have both.
Yeah, I get you.
There are a couple that have won it more than once. Where are we? Bill Howard won it 2 years in a row.
Okay.
So underneath their name they put the photo finish. That is a photo finish.
Okay, he won in Adelaide too.
So he won it, and this one he won on scratch.
That's
The second one?
That's a Ross again.
Yeah, so he won it 2 years apart.
Yes, yeah.
And that one he won off scratch.
Oh, okay, wow. And he won the Bay Sheffield as well in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe Bill Howard, who we have a race named after, the 100 metres.
Bill Howard's 100-metre race.
Yep, so he won 2 years in a row, back to back.
And these are all Stawell Gifts.
Yeah.
And that's 100 metres?
120.
120.
Yeah.
It started off as 130, well, 120 yards.
Yeah.
And then, 130 yards, and then came back to 120 because it's the same.
Yep.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, look
that's
at that.
amazing too.
Cancer was up close.
they got around it. They got permission to, as long as the juniors can't bet on themselves and aren't allowed to be bet on.
Okay.
So you can't bet on,
Can't bet on juniors,
Anyone
but now they've
under
got a
18,
bookmaker for this year, have they?
They got them
Pretty
now?
sure. This guy was a pretty handy runner. He didn't get a lot of a pull either. He was only, although
Foley won twice, 70 and 72, off 7.5 yards and 11 yards.
Same time, 11.8.
So even though he'd won it, he was still off 7.5 yards.
Well, it was a year apart.
there was a year in between, so he may have been pulled further than that, but may have gained some of that back.
Yeah.
Any South Aussies?
Probably a few. Doesn't actually say it.
And some league footballers too, haven't there? There have been some.
The match that was held yesterday at the QE Queen Elizabeth Oval in Bendigo was to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the first women's cricket match recorded as being played in Australia. And it was a match between a Bendigo team and a Ballarat team.
Right, okay.
Okay, it was a T20 match and quite... But the commentary around that first match was the amount of abuse that was hurled in the press about the fact that women, not ladies, were playing cricket. So things have moved on since then.
Yeah.
Gratefully.
Yeah.
So there's 150 years ago that was the first game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of the people who were there yesterday had played in Test cricket for Australia, the women.
Right.
And
What kind of people? Who?
Rainey Thompson,
Yeah.
Kathy Fitzpatrick, who's a more contemporary player.
Yeah.
So there was heaps of people. They're all catching up with one another and not paying enough attention to the game, actually.
So yesterday's game was a T20,
Yes.
but the one that was played 150 years ago, what was that?
I wouldn't know the details, but I suspect it was a one-day event.
Yes, yeah.
But there's a records of it. But the most publicity surrounding it was the fact that there were women and the hostile press and the abuse.
Yes, yeah. And they would have been underarm bowling in those days? No,
the real deal.
Okay, because my understanding is that women began the overarm. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Because of the crinoline situation.
When did that happen?
Oh, I'm not a sports historian.
No, I'm not, no.
Here's the sports.
No, that's good, yeah. Well, that's a great
Thanks,
story.
Ross.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ross.
And are you involved with 400 metres? But Ross's grandfather?
Yeah, grandfather.
Her grandfather?
Won the 400, well, would have been 440 yards in those days.
Right.
What year?
Early 1920s, I believe.
Wow.
Well, and what was his name?
Albert Victor James.
Albert Victor James Buzzer? Or
No,
just
James was his
okay.
family name.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Where
he
did
was,
he live at the time?
would have been Kyneton.
Okay.
Victoria?
Yeah. So, but lots of he went by his middle name, Vic.
Okay.
So what was his lifestyle such that he could afford to come and run?
He
That
was he was a tailor by profession, and he was a returned soldier from the First World War, and badly wounded, and
I've got more important things on my
kept up with his sporting activities when he got home. So,
Right, to keep him fit. Yeah.
Good
well,
on him.
just enjoying it because, as I said, I think his dad had something to do with it because of the sports administration side of it.
Yeah.
His dad was the secretary of the Victorian Athletics or Stawell, one or other of it.
Okay.
Yeah, the connections.
Yeah.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Well, what a great
it does.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good
So
on him.
his father would have inspired him,
Probably.
giving him a goal and
Well, it's like a lot of kids, you get
Put him in the
dragged
right
along to
direction.
watch your parents or
Yeah.
play or whatever, and
Yeah.
inevitably you end up playing
Yeah.
their sport.
Oh, you were a hockey player?
Hockey player, that's
Yeah.
right.
With Shirley,
Sylvia Farram.
Sylvia Farram.
Yeah.
And
Great
they had
story,
a big
right?
thing.